So, you are in the property game now. You are off to viewings, and the first thing property gurus like to say is ask why the owner is selling the property. Well, the numbers may make sense, things look okay on paper, but secretly you wonder, why are they selling? Is there something I don't know? Well, let's dive into today's episode where we talk about 10 somewhat acceptable reasons why someone would sell their property. Number 1. Financial reasons. They may need cash for a major expense such as medical bills, education, or starting a business. Now we know life is lifing, guys, really. You never know when you may need to actually cash in on your asset. It would make more sense that you refinance the property, but you never know. These things do happen. I know when I bought my first property, the agent had mentioned to me that the reason why 2 of those properties were up for sale was because one of the owners, because it was a married couple, one of the owners was terminally ill and they obviously needed the cash. And it had served its purpose because their daughter already was done with university and they didn't have to have her staying at the university anymore. So they just needed the money. So these things do happen. Number 2 is relocation. They may be moving to a new city or country for work, family reasons, or lifestyle changes. Now that does not come as a surprise because people are working from home, so people don't actually need to be in the city anymore, and people can actually work remotely now thanks to the internet and just being online. So it's very possible that someone would want to just leave and go somewhere else. The lifestyle of being a digital nomad is no longer a dream, it's actually a reality. So maybe you do not want to be tied down to a property in another country at the other side of the world. Some people just don't want to leave all of that to an agent, or maybe they just don't want that stress. Number 3, upgrading or downsizing. They may want a larger or smaller home based on changes in their family size or lifestyle. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can expect this with people who are in their late 20s, early 30s. They would want to sell their places so that they could get more space because people have got families, growing families, and they need more space. And you can also find this to be common with people in their 60s, 70s because they need to downsize, or maybe they need to move to a retirement home, so they would need to sell their properties. The age group in between, you're not really expecting people to be moving. They would want stability, and so if there's something there, there has to be a really good reason for people in their 40s or 50s to be moving. Number 4, investment purposes. They may want to cash in on the property's appreciation or invest in a different type of property. Ladies and gentlemen, I am actually guilty of this. I sold my property because I saw that there were a lot more units that were built, and obviously if there's an oversupply of properties, then it means even when you're selling, the prices are going to go down. It starts with the rental prices. Yes, the war. When there are too many people who want to get a tenant in, the prices are going to keep on going down. And if those prices go down, then it's a matter of time before the properties themselves also go down. Remember, the value is always created by the clients. And if the people who are moving into those units are those that really cannot afford, you can imagine what's going to happen 5 years later, 10 years later. Already there is going to be a bit of a depreciation because they won't be able to upkeep the property and they want some cheap things. So not only is it that property doesn't always go up in value, but really the value is created by the tenants themselves. Look at your clientele. If they cannot afford, let's just say it's a recipe for disaster. Nothing good comes from that. It's downhill from there. Next thing you know, you're going to have a lot of people who cannot afford to stay there, and they're going to have a lot of missed payments. And that is all going to really hurt your pocket as the investor. Number 5, debt repayment. They may sell to pay off debts or to avoid foreclosure. Yes, after what I said before, you will need to keep lowering your rental money for your unit because clients simply cannot afford to stay there anymore, and you run the risk of falling behind on payments. And you know it's downhill from there onwards, right? Pretty easy to fall under that category, foreclosure. Or you could add more people in the unit to stay together just to keep the payments up to date. But that is definitely not a good sign long term. It's just a quick fix short term. Never mind all the fixing that you're going to need to do later on. Number 6, divorce or separation. In these situations, selling the property may be part of dividing assets. All right, I'm going to call it for what it is. That is actually a golden opportunity if you are a property investor because, emotions are high and nobody wants to see the next person or want to have anything to do with their former spouse. So if you can get it much cheaper, if you can negotiate quite well, you'd be shocked at how amazing of a deal you can get. Now, I'm not saying take advantage of people's pain, but where pain and emotions and money is involved, that is one hell of a recipe. And some people can take that poison and turn it into medicine, depending on who is drinking it. You're still here. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe. And you can write in the comments the word sell so that I know that you even got to this part. So let's continue, and here we go with the next one. Number 7, maintenance costs. They may find the upkeep of the property to be too expensive or challenging. Something that is overlooked by property investors is the taxes or the levies on a property if they are in a gated community. So the increase in those levies will definitely have an impact on the amount of money that you get to collect as an investor. If every year they're increasing those levies by a significant amount, it's going to have a major impact on your pocket. Now, another thing is so often property investors just want to buy, lavish or very nice units or houses to rent out. Yes, it does draw in the clients. They will come and stay there. But you can definitely be sure that something is going to break somewhere, somehow. And if it's too costly for you to maintain the property or even to replace some of those things, then you need to be aware that you are now working at a loss. Number 8, market conditions. They may sell when the market is favorable to maximize their profits. You know what they say, when everyone is buying, that is the best time for you to be selling. Sometimes it's just that simple. When there's more of a demand, then you can definitely up the price, especially if there is no supply. So cash in on that one. Number 9, health reasons. They may need to move to a more accessible or suitable living environment due to health issues. Okay, things do happen in life, and sometimes people will need to move to medical facilities that will definitely benefit them, because even with illnesses, not all illnesses are the same. So sometimes a specialist can be in a whole other area, and it would make sense if you would move much closer to that specialist so you can have the best medical care available to you at any time. And now we have reached number 10, personal reasons. Sometimes you just don't want to have to be fixing toilets or dealing with any other complaints from your tenants. For some people, maybe they don't want a constant reminder of the house that they once lived with, someone they loved, or even someone that they loathed. But let's try and be optimistic. Maybe they actually found love somewhere in another country or something, so they needed to sell the house. Anything is possible. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope that these reasons are legit for you. But if there's something sketchy, then you probably should look way more into it. And I will see you in the next episode.